Welcome everybody back here at Veil of Sound. Yes, everybody who knows or who follows Pelagic Records closely knew that we had to get this thing done here because we always do the Pelagic interviews. And if we have a chance to talk to somebody as interesting as this little young man here, we of course have to take it. So I'm very happy to talk to one of the members of the new super group, Jagged City. So I'm very happy to have Jake Woodruff here on the show. So Jake, thanks for joining.
Thanks so much for having me.
Jake, the first thing that we always do is the pluck of the day where the interview partners, aka you and me, get to pluck a band each. Not one of your own bands, so you cannot say Defeater. I'm very sorry.
No worries.
And also not Explosions of the Skies, please. But you know what I mean. You will pluck a band that you think should get a little more attention, and I will pluck one. And I always try to find something that is in some ways related to my interview partner. And today, I first wanted to talk about Envy, because which better post-hardcore band is there than Envy?
Truly.
But your music is instrumental, so I had to think a little differently. And I came up with Toe.
Okay.
Also Asia, also instrumental. A little bit more on the mathcore side,
yeah,
rock side, but a very, very good post-hardcore band.
Yeah, I saw them in Boston. Oh man, because Top Shelf put out their re-released some of their records, right?
I'm very sure they did. Yes.
Yeah. I saw
at least for the States. Yes.
Forget when that was, but that show was amazing. Yeah.
Now I envy you because that's one of my list, one of the bands that I haven't seen yet. So, which band or project would you like to pluck at this very moment?
Man, this artist Back X Wash.
Oh yeah.
That me and Carlos were actually just talking about this morning. He called me on his way to the bus. And we were just we both were spinning that record like a month ago.
You probably mean the last one, Only Dust Remains?
Yeah.
Because she has a couple of records under her belt, and all of them are amazing.
That's the only one I've really dug into, but yeah, I'm psyched to listen to the rest of the catalog.
I can already tell you when you listen to the rest of the catalog, you will be equally amazed.
Awesome.
That project is just breathtakingly good.
Yeah, so good.
When it comes to modern hip hop, I think they're better than Clipping, and that means a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about Clipping too. So I checked them out for the first time today. The weird synchronicity there. But that was good. That was a little I was kind of feeling more of just I was at work and just trying to groove and get stuff done. And Clipping was a little, I was like, need to be driving around for this or something.
And it's also the side of hip hop that I think nerd people who are into guitar-driven music, they just love Clipping or Backwash. There is just something about that music.
Wow, cool.
Let's talk about.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was David Diggs too.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything. That's crazy.
Yeah. Talking about workaholics.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your band, and I have to ask the icebreaker at the beginning. Who came up with the idea to name a band after Alanis Morissette and Starship?
Oh man. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. Well, it's actually named after a Hanif Abdurraqib line. But yeah, it was my idea. A friend had given me There's Always This Year. Around the same time, me and Carlos were working on the music that eventually became Jagged City. But also around the same time, me and my wife were watching the Alanis Morissette documentary. Yeah, she rules.
I mean, anybody who grew up with a little bit of alternative music in the 90s, I mean, you couldn't get around Alanis, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't realize till way later that Taylor Hawkins was her drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you hear her ambient record that came out?
No, I haven't. Huh?
Oh man,
when did that happen?
I think it was 2019 or 20.
So shortly before or at the beginning of the pandemic.
It's all kind of a blur. We actually moved back to Texas around that time and things were a little wild. So I don't know, but
I will look that
it's
up.
beautiful.
Okay. For everybody out there who doesn't get the joke, the Alanis Morissette album, I think you will also agree, is Jagged Little Pill. And of course, the hit by Starship is We Built This City. So that's why. But you already mentioned it. It is based on a book by, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. Let's just say Hanif.
Hanif Abdurraqib, yeah.
Yeah, you're much better at it. And the book is called There's Always This Year. So it has a direct connection to the band name and also to the name of the record. There's more of us, always.
So that actually was taken. The band name and the title of the EP are taken from the end of one of the chapters, and I think I got this right. The sentences are, there are more of us always. There's no corner of this jagged city that can kill us all.
Wow.
And he's talking about police violence. He's talking about oppression. And it was just such like a hard hitting closer of two like beautiful sentences. Yeah, hopefully he thinks of it as an homage to
very sure
just a truly, truly great novel by like one of the yeah, he's a really powerful writer.
And it also already hints at a little bit of the background of the music. Because I'm like, for somebody who has been following Defeater over more than a decade and somebody who knows about the somehow political aspect of Explosions in the Sky, it shouldn't be a surprise that also your new band, that Jagged City, is somewhat of a political band in the sense of sociopolitics. But the question then must be, and I hope you don't mind me asking, why did you keep it an instrumental project?
I mean,
like we both know that, of course, instrumental music can be political. No question about that. Just look at Godspeed You Black Emperor. That is not the question. But did you never think about putting lyrics to the songs so to be even more clear about it?
I think it kind of happened the other way around. Like the way that this project has gone so far has just been more about starting with the process and starting with the creative process and like re-falling in love with that. And the first Jagged City, like what became these songs, started because I was going through like kind of a dry spell and just wanted to like play guitar just to kind of explore. And the first like 2-3 songs came out of a couple weeks of doing just that. And then I've never done an instrumental band before. Like I've never been in a post-rock band. I love the genre. And I don't know, I was also like, we're getting to the age where you got to work on something with your friends to like talk to them regularly. And me and Carlos would catch up once every, I don't know, 6 months or something. But I was like, oh man, I wonder if Carlos would want to work on these songs with me. And he was down. So I guess it wasn't as much of a decision to not have vocals as it was to like do something new and do something together. And I think that there's, I guess like the way that we went about this release, and I don't know, who knows, maybe we'll have vocals in the future.
Yeah.
We just wanted to offer something that and no disrespect to the post-rock genre, um, it gets like a little shiny and like really produced sometimes,
Mhm.
and sometimes that can be really beautiful. Like a lot
Yeah.
of my favorite records um, sound like that, but we wanted something a little grittier and like yeah. Um, I'm getting a little far afield from the question, but the I think there's poetry in the openness of
Yeah.
instrumental music,
Yeah.
and we wanted to give enough of a enough words and enough imagery to kind of evoke a response in the listener,
Mhm.
which like I mean led to you asking that question. Like, um, yeah, does that answer it?
It does
Kind of.
answer it.
Okay.
And something that I think explains also a little bit the question itself. One should not forget that, of course, for somebody who has been doing punk or hardcore songs for decades now, like you,
Mhm.
I think putting out a record that does not in any way rely on lyrics is a challenge in and of itself. And then also, just like you said, trying to give post rock some kind of different edge, a little bit more grit. I think that also makes it very interesting. And here I would like to start with the question. I mean, like, there is a lot of post rock to the record, but would you mind if I called it post hardcore?
No, you can call it whatever you want.
I guess you also understand why, because there is a lot of grit, there is a lot of up tempo on the record, and still
Yep.
it's combined with a lot of the post rock stuff.
Yeah.
So,
There's even some like I don't know, there's one song that gets a little like almost like mineral-y, like I don't know, like Midwest emo sounding.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
And one of the other parts reminded me a lot of Fries at the Veishu era, like up
Really?
tempo, yeah, up
Okay,
tempo, a
cool.
little bit grittier.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot to that. Maybe not Veishu, but some of the not early phase Fries, but second phase.
Yeah.
Um, you have already hinted at, working with Carlos and using that as a point to talk to a friend. Of course, that was also probably difficult because Jagged City is a cross-continental band.
Yeah.
So, can you maybe explain the songwriting process a little bit to our audience?
Yeah, sure. We one of us would come up with an idea and send it to the other one. Um, and we both, these days it's really easy to get like a home recording setup that at least does the bare minimum. Um, we're not a super high tech band by any stretch, but we both, yeah, would just like take an idea, then we like the other person would record something over it, send it back, and invariably we get like caught up in conversation and like catching up. So we would just kind of like ping pong things back and forth um, as much as possible.
Hmm.
Um, Usually weekly with like time to work on stuff in between. And we also, for a lot of it, were joined on drums by David Hike, who plays drums and piano from the
Pianos
Teeth.
become the teeth,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep. And he'd been filling in for Defeater a lot and still does fill in for Defeater um, around the time we were writing this. So he was also like sending us drum ideas that were helping us like sketch out the arc of the songs, which was super rad. So yeah, basically just like three people in different cities, just sending messy demos back and forth until it like turned into something.
Well, I'm very sure those demos were not as messy as you try to make them sound. What is interesting is, I mean, like when we have two people from bands that are in a way from very opposite ends of the musical spectrum, Um, I mean, like in a way, Jagged City sounds a little like the middle between Defeater and Explosions in the Sky.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it never really sounds like either of the bands. Was that also important for you? That it doesn't sound too much like Defeater, that it doesn't sound too much like Explosions.
I don't know that we were just chasing the ideas. Like we were
Mm-hmm.
just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad it sounds like its own thing.
It does.
And the influences are there. Um, but no, we didn't have any like goals like
Mm-hmm.
to know. I've very rarely, if ever, tried not to sound like something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like you just get into whatever the song is and just like
Mm-hmm.
chase that. Um, yeah, and I think one of the things that's been really refreshing for me, and I think for Carlos too, is this was like it'd been so long since I'd done a new project.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just really fresh and the energy is like I don't know, it's just been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as there's been a lot of other atrocious things happening. It's been a way to like connect, not in an escapist way, but in a like, oh, you can also create something.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
yeah,
you can also
I don't know.
create something to give back something to the scenes, the scene, the communities. Because I read somewhere, and I can totally understand that when listening to the record, that
Hmm.
you wanted to give people a chance to listen to something together. At least that's one of your press kits. I don't know, but I think there is something
Yeah,
really, really good about the music. And that is what I was also hinting at with the last question. It is very uniting.
cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. And I feel like there's a it's not a either or like
Mhm.
I've just one of the in as I'm sure like a lot of us are in like kind of desperately trying to cling to some kind of hope
Mhm.
these days. I just like have become like really, I don't know, like focusing again on how creativity like with people in community and together is the same no matter if you're like writing songs or if you're thinking about what you want your society to look like, if you're
Mhm.
thinking about what you want your town to look like, what you want
Mhm.
like your block to look like. Anytime you're like working together with the people around you and like getting to know them and figuring out what everyone needs and like where your strengths and power lie and how to go about getting those things together or making something that can hopefully ignite that in other people. Um, it's kind of all the same process. So, and it's contagious. Like if somebody makes something really good, it like brings you joy and energy, and that energy can be passed on.
Mhm.
Like, and it's with everything. Like, I don't know, my friend bakes really good bread, and they brought some over to us
Yeah.
last weekend, and it's just like that joy then like spurs you on and like helps us all keep going together instead of all just looking at this dumb little fucking screen all the time that like makes you feel powerless. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, of course, it has something of a very, very American idea of you might not change the big picture, but you might change your own community.
You think that's an American idea?
Um, yeah,
How
because
how would it
because
be different in Germany?
um, let's put it this way: in Germany, that might and probably works on a very different level, but I'll be honest, there are people in this town that I honestly don't give a fuck about. And where I myself would even say, like, before I help them, I rather don't help. For various reasons. Various
Yeah.
reasons. Some are
I
personal,
mean,
some are political, some are social.
yeah.
And the problem is that I know for a lot of towns, the people will be more skeptic if you do something good to them. I can only talk for Germany. I'm not talking for every
Yeah.
other European city, but having lived in the States, I remember that was a very, very, for me, a very, very defining pillar of American society.
That despite how shitty things are, we still like somehow believe we can change them.
That even though things are shitty and the Orange Turd tries to become Hitler and Mussolini at the same time,
Yeah.
that even though you can find something good for your town or for your community or maybe only even your neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I feel like there's a lot of generalizations happening because there's
In that
also,
sentence, yes.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'll give you that one.
If you agree, then it's fine with me. If you say like, I would say similar things about some of my neighbors, I can also understand them.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of everyone's, yeah.
I think there is also something in there, and now the politics teacher might come out.
Hmm.
I mean, like living in a bipartisan country like yours, reaching
Yeesh.
across the aisle is a little easier because there is only one other party. If you do that in Germany with our, at the moment, six-party system,
Hmm.
you know, the differences are a lot, a lot. And yeah, also one of the reasons why I wouldn't help some of my neighbors. Let's get back to your record.
Yeah.
And first of all, the question is, do you consider there are more of us always a full length, or is it for you a larger EP? Or
Oh,
does it not even matter?
no, it's an EP. Yeah. Um,
Then the next question must
yeah.
be, are there new songs in the pipeline?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, then I think the answer to the next question must be already clear, but you said you had like a dry spell. Did this reignite your passion for writing music afresh?
Oof. I yeah, I guess so. I hadn't really thought of it like that. I play in a few different projects kind of constantly, which keeps I always enjoy shows and um yeah, Defeater. We hadn't written much for Defeater at the time. I play in another band called Dream Tigers, and I play in my partner's solo project. She plays under the name Aisha Burns. Um, those are the constants, and there's some other bands too. But
Workaholic.
something, yeah. Uh, I think, yeah, I was a little. I never really like stopped, but it had started feeling a little tiring always writing with like one of those in the
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I guess this did like reignite like like being excited about playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And like yes, it's been really fun like seeing this all come together.
Then, of course, when you say you got new songs in the pipeline, next question must be, will those also maybe come out through our dear friends here at Pelagic?
We
Could
are
you
we are
imagine doing that?
Oh, definitely. In fact, I think we're legally obligated to do so. So,
Don't make it sound so
no, it'd be great.
matter of contract wise.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's
No,
how did it happen? I mean, like Pelagic, a German label. I know we all know they have a lot of ties all over the world, but how did it happen
yeah.
that this project ended up on Pelagic?
It's through our friends in Psalm.
Mm-hmm.
I met Mike when he was in Junius. We ended up Junius tour ended in Austin, and I was down hanging out with Aisha and needed a ride back to Massachusetts. So me and him started the long drive back together after we had a lot of mutual friends, but hadn't ever met somehow. But this is in 2013, I think. Um, yeah, and we've been fast friends ever since then. And Dream Tigers is recorded with Will, who sings for Psalm. Um, yeah, and Joel and Justin are both really dear friends too. Um, so yeah, when we had the record, everything happened in very like distinct stages. Like
Okay.
we wrote all the songs and then we figured out how to record them with
Mm-hmm.
Urian. And that was its own like really beautiful chapter. And then after it was all done, we were like, oh, I guess we should see if
Publish it.
someone wants to put this out. Like this, we
Mm-hmm.
really love this. Um, and yeah, Robin was just really enthusiastic from the jump and like yeah, it was his idea to do the gatefold 10-inch. Um, yeah, the and what on the last Defeater tour, we played Berlin, and I got to meet most of the staff and like hang out with Robin and talk more about the release. So they've been super great to work with.
If
And yeah,
anybody wants to know, yeah, you go ahead first.
oh no, I'm uh just really excited to keep working with them for the next record.
Ah, that sounds like we have to do another interview. Um,
Yeah, let's go.
uh, to make it clear, if anybody wants to know a little bit more about Psalm or Junius, you can find a written interview with Junius, with Joseph on our website, and you find the link beneath this. And I'll also put the link to the interview with Psalm in the show notes for this one. Um, and it also shows again something about the label. Were you familiar with the label before Psalm?
Vaguely, because they did
Yeah.
some Junior stuff too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I started realizing how many other friends were on the label, like that band Druids, like Luke
Mm.
from Modern Life is War's band. Um, yeah, and then a few other like this dude Andrew Nault from Boston. His band is on Pelagic as well. Yeah, it was pretty wild. And then seeing that they had put out stuff from Envy and Mono and like so many legendary bands. It was pretty.
So did the
Yeah.
connection to Taka from Mono then go through Pelagic?
No, that was Carlos.
Ah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, they've been friends for a really long time. Um, yeah. Uh, I think Explosions and Mono did shows together towards like the beginning of Carlos's playing with Explosions. Um, yeah, and they've been friends for yeah, I think like 15 or 20 years now.
To make it clear, when Jake is talking about recording with Urian, he's talking about Urian Hackney, who is not only the son of one of the most famous drummers of all time, or musicians. Is it drums? What was it? Yeah,
I
drums,
think he's
right?
a bassist.
Bassist,
Yeah.
sorry, bassist.
He plays bass and sings.
Yeah, and then Urian is a member of maybe one of the exciting hardcore bands at our time, The Armed, right? So
Mhm.
there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's again a lot of stuff going on. Um,
But he plays drums for Iggy Pop now too, which is wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially because Iggy Pop can hide behind a microphone stand. Yeah, I mean, like Urian's style of playing is very, very, very cool. I don't want
Man,
to say that you can hear it on your record, but um, I mean, like him just being the producer and David playing the drums on the record. But I
so
think, yeah.
David actually didn't play drums.
What
David,
did he?
no, Urian played drums.
Oh, then I misread that.
Urian's the MVP. Yeah, he
The most valuable person. Yeah.
because when we nailed down some recording, like a general time frame when we
Mhm.
wanted to record. Um, and David was like, damn, I'm gonna be in South America filling in for Angel Dust, but you guys should definitely record. Like he was like, you have my blessing, go
Okay.
for it. Um, and I was like, oh man, so now we need an engineer and a drummer
Yeah.
for this. Um, yeah, and Defeater had played with Rough Francis
Okay.
um, a few months before that. I don't know. It all kind of blends together. Um, and so I emailed Uriah and was like, "Hey man, I don't know if you'd be down, but uh, do you want to rip these songs with us?" And he was stoked. And man, so the way we did it was I went up to Vermont. There's a few hours drive from where I live.
Yeah.
Um, and we knocked the whole thing out in 2 days. And then Carlos did bass in LA
Mm.
with Michael James from Explosions.
Mm.
Um, and then Uriah mixed the whole thing. Um,
Okay.
dude, Uriah is working with him was like I've been very blessed to work with some incredible drummers, um, and engineers and producers. He's got it all. It's crazy. Like his energy is amazing. Um, his like the way that he got his head around these songs, he had never like we'd never played them or practiced them before. We just like he had demos, which I think like three or four of the songs had drums, but at least two or three didn't at all.
Okay.
Um, including uh what that song ended up being called? Hairspring,
Hmm.
um, which is like in 5 and 6. Um, Yeah, and he just like the second day of recording, he was like, let's do that one. So we played it through once together and didn't like played it completely. I was like, oh,
Okay.
let's like, do you think we should start taping? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we started recording and we just played it again, and that's the version on the record. Like he had that song has a few different parts and like a long bridge and like extra beats here and there, and he just had it. Like it was is unbelievable. And the whole session was kind of like that. Like he was fresh off an Armed tour, so I knew he was going to nail the like blasty stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it was so fun working with him.
Is that then also one of those moments where all of a sudden you see all the things coming together? I mean, like you said, that there were some tracks that didn't have drums. Was that one of those where you're like, oh man, that is the way I imagined it, or maybe even better than I imagined it?
Yeah. And a little bit of like, let's just go and trust each other and
Mhm.
kind of listen back after we get something and like kind of see, he definitely took a lot of direction from like where what the drum parts were that we had in mind, but he
Mhm.
added his own
Mhm.
his own flair, and it was yeah. I think we weren't too precious about like trying to realize a specific vision as much as like let's just chase this idea and see what happens.
So I mean, like, I mean, like you already said that David gave you his blessing, like just go ahead, record.
Hmm.
Um, I figure that if you ever played live, David would be the first choice. Uh,
Well,
would
I
he?
mean, Ryan's got first refusal now, but I'm sure he's going to be in like you know playing
Yeah,
like Brazil with Iggy Pop or something.
yeah,
Uh,
or in Europe with VR, where I think
yeah,
he's at the moment. So yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah.
But would David have to? really relearn some of the songs?
Oh, he's a monster too. I'm sure he's got it. Yeah.
No, but what I mean, like the versions you've mentioned, like he maybe changed a little bit. Are they very different from the original ones?
No, not really. The David definitely had we messed around with some like during defeater practice breaks. Um we hashed out a bunch of ideas for imaginary lines. Um and the two like more blasty ones. Um and all I have I'm blanking on the what's the single that just came out? Ocean East, Ocean West. Um
Mhm.
David's ideas were pretty much like they're not too far off of what ended up on the record.
Um, and we have to talk about one of the singles, about the first one, Imaginary Lines,
Mhm.
because in Imaginary Lines, you give basically a public service announcement in the middle of a track. And maybe you explain to our listeners why you did that. What are you trying to say there? Or why did you feel it necessary? Maybe that's even more.
Yeah, so that's actually only on the version that's on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Um,
basically a Spotify public service announcement.
yeah, so between when we like signed with Pelagic and when it came time for them to like start production and like actually putting this out, um the like news of Spotify's investment in AI defense companies, which
Yep.
like putting all those words together is so fucking disgusting. It's like uh yeah,
Not
it's
even
wild.
saying that the owner of Spotify basically also invested in Under Armour, a military company.
Yeah. Um like they were already not paying musicians anything close to what they should be. And then to take their piles of money that they made off of unpaid labor and invest it in killing people
Yeah.
was atrocious. So me and Carlos were like, hey, just so you guys know, we don't want to put it on Spotify at all. And there was some back and forth about that because Pelagic is a label that's trying to promote bands and sell records as well. So what we ended up with was the I call it an exclusive Spotify version that yeah, like all the tracks cut off into uh I guess like the first vocals for this uh project. And it just really shortly describes like why we don't want um we don't want our full songs in their like actual intended versions on that platform.
Yeah. Will
Um,
you release the record on Spotify on Friday?
uh, spoiler alert, all of the tracks are like the one that you were referencing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But for everybody out there, to make it clear, I mean, using Spotify is not gonna bring you into moral hell. But if you really want to support a musician, an artist, a band, a project, well, if you want to use Spotify, then at least make sure that you go to the concerts, buy a T-shirt or two, because otherwise those people will not be able to make music anymore that you could listen to on Spotify.
Yeah. I would go a little further than that, man.
Please.
I don't think I think everybody should get off Spotify. You
Yeah,
know, everyone is going to make their own decisions, but I think that's the kind of decision that we need to be a lot more conscious of, and that's a really easy one. Like if you just use an app to migrate your playlist and everything over to a less evil streaming service if you want to use a streaming service. It's really not that hard. They're all within a few dollars per month of the same
Definitely.
price. Um, yeah, you can make your own decisions as to like which one is, you know, more ethical
Convenient.
and or
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one, and I think we all need to be doing more of that.
It is easy. I just wanted to say, like, if you want to support an artist, and if that is your main goal, then
Yeah,
Spotify cannot be the answer. If you want to
fair.
do
Yeah,
the
yeah, for
ethically
sure.
and moral, if you want to do the ethically and morally right thing, then you should stop using Spotify or Apple Music or some of the bigger ones. There are enough smaller platforms out there.
Yeah,
And I mean, like, if you really want to support your artist, buy something off of Bandcamp, go to
definitely.
the shows, buy a t-shirt. I mean, like, let's be honest, the most money bands nowadays can make is through playing live and selling a little bit of merch. So
Yeah, and
that
even
should,
that.
and even that, yeah, and even
Yeah.
that. So Jake, first of all, thanks for all the insight into the new record, into the new project, also for the interesting promise of more Jagged City songs and a record.
Yeah.
But nobody leaves a Veil of Sound interview without going through a quick fire round at the end. I have
All right.
explained to you how it works before,
Yep.
and I don't want to go into it again because people say I'm boring them with my explanation. So I'll give you, first of all, referencing back to the beginning of our talk, referencing back to Jagged Little Pill. You can
Okay.
decide which track you like more. You ought to know or ironic.
Oh, you ought to know.
Yeah, more gritty, definitely.
Yeah. Although
Then,
ironic gets more mileage in like jokes about the lyrics.
yeah, I mean, that track is also one of those tracks which has seen overexposure, right? It's just,
Yeah. Well, and as an English teacher, do you get annoyed that it's not technically ironic?
yeah, of
Like,
course I do, but uh, I even had when I do my upper level English classes, and they always have to present a stylistic device, and I once
yeah.
had a student quote from the song, and I was like, "Do you really think that's what it is?"
Yeah, these are actually just things that suck.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like Mr. Play It Safe crashed on a plane. Yeah, that's not irony. That's just shitty life, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so you've said that some of your favorite songs and records are post-rock records. So I hope that the following couples will not be too hard. You have to choose between two records by Mogwai, Mr. Beast or Hardcore. Hardcore will never die, but you will.
I'll go with hardcore.
Yeah. Can you say why?
It's honestly, I've just spent more time with it than Mr. Beast.
Mm-hmm. Um, Mono, as Taka is on the record, I have to give you two Mono records.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the last one, Oath, versus one
Oh,
of my favorites, Hymn for the Immortal Wind.
oof. I really love Oath at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll take Oath.
Okay. I understand. That is a very, very good. And for a band that late in the career to come out with a record that good,
Yeah.
that says a lot about it.
I felt that way about the last Explosions record too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, when talking about American post rock, one does basically not get around Caspian. So I'll give you two Caspian records:
Oh man.
Dust
These
and
are some of my
Disquiet.
dearest friends. So okay.
Yeah, that's why you have to
All
choose
right.
between the records. It's not Caspian versus another band. It's just two of their
All right.
records. Dust and Disquiet versus Four Trees.
Oh. I'll take Dust.
Mm-hmm. Is that your favorite Caspian record, or do you have a different
No.
one? Which
No,
one is
I'm
it?
still a Waking Season guy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would. I always also thought about that, but I thought like, that's too easy.
Yeah, I love that one.
And we've been talking about post rock being also able to convey political messages, and therefore, of course, the godfathers of political post rock. Godspeed you, Black Emperor. I'll give you the lift your fist, like you know what I mean, versus no title as of February 13th, 2024.
Oh man, this band is. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this band.
Okay. But can you choose between the records?
Yeah, I'll do Lift Your Skinny Fist. But if I'm being real, my favorite record from those people is Born Into Trouble as the Sparks Fly Upward by Silver Mount Zion.
I'm not going to go into that one. So let's go to the hardcore side of Jagged City. This is the only time where I will give you two bands, and you have to choose which one you would rather listen to right now. Not in general, not saying which one is you. I'm going to make it easy. If you had to listen to one record by one of those two bands right now, which one would be? Modern Life is War versus Have Heart.
Modern Life is War.
Could you also say which record it would be?
I love the new one. Witness is it's my favorite hardcore record of the 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not, I'm not going to say like it's the best. It's my favorite.
Yeah, there is a clear difference. Yeah, that is understandable.
Yeah, and I forget what somebody did a like I forget what they called it, but it was like it was like a match of like 64 records from the 2000s recently. And for some reason Modern Life is War wasn't on the list.
Nope. With no record.
No. It's insane to me. But anyway.
Was it 64 hardcore records or 64? Okay.
I think it was a little more in like the capital H hardcore, like Terror, Trapped Under Ice.
Yeah.
Side of it. But they had like I think
there is one band in there that I have mixed feelings about.
Yeah.
Terror.
Fine. All right, wait. I'm sidetracking you though.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about that moment at Woodstock Record Festival where Scott Vogel is dissing Refused. You know, like nobody.
Damn! What year was that?
2012.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't play that year.
And he was like, "Why are so few people at our show? So many people watching fucking Refused."
Because they're great. We played the year 2015, I think, like the last time Refused played Girls Rock, and that was awesome. I
mean, like Refused is unbeatable. Sorry, if anybody had to pin me down for 5 hardcore records of all time, The Shape of Punk to Come would be in there.
Yeah,
definitely, no question.
Definitely.
I have 2 more.
Okay, hit me.
And here, you know, like, not to piss off David, but you have to choose between 2 Pianos Become the Thief records.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Lack Long After or Keep You.
Man, Keep You.
Okay.
I love The Lack Long After. I love everything that band has ever done. They took Dream Tigers out on tour a couple years ago. Defeaters played so many shows with them. The dudes stayed at my old apartment a lot, you know, like when they were swinging through Boston.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing some Keep You demos before Keep You came out, and that record's phenomenal. I love it. We were all convinced they were going to be the biggest band in the world, and sadly that didn't happen, but that record is so good.
And then one band that came out and which over here in Europe was always somehow mixed in with bands like Defeater, like Pianos Become the Thief, even La Dispute, although all of those bands are very, very, very different from each other. I don't know why. But one of my favorite hardcore bands of all time, Touché Amoré. And I'll give you two records: Parting the Sea Between Brightness and Me versus Stage 4.
Um, I'll go with Party in the Sea.
Understandable. I would go
Um,
with Stage 4, but for
no, that's
one other
fair.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah, they're a great band. Uh, yeah, we've been crossing paths with them a lot
yeah,
since like them and Defeater kind of, popped off at the same time. So
yeah.
yeah, love those guys. Yeah, but I still the early stuff still like has a special place in my heart.
I totally get that. It's just the one reason why it will always be Stage 4. No matter, they could put out the best record of all time, and it would still be Stage 4, because Stage 4 was my soundtrack to my mom having Stage 4 cancer. So that's
Oh
just
man,
I cannot listen to that record and not cry.
yeah,
But that's
I'm
good.
I'm
That is
sorry
a
to hear
good
that.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but honestly, that is once again one of those moments where you see like music gets us through.
Mhm.
And here I think we can nicely quote with the social awareness of your record. Um, there are more of us always. And I say that to everybody who has been screaming at me for being too political.
Oh yeah,
Don't like it, go. Uh, However, I hope that you go to Europe with Jagged City sometime,
yeah,
and that we can
we would
then
love
listen
to.
and enjoy those tracks live, because I think that's what they are made for.
Yeah, no,
So,
that'd be
Jake,
great.
thanks for your time. And well, as I said, hope to see you in Europe.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for listening to the record.
Thank you very much.